we have our next presenter. She's the founder of Camp More, and it's an amazing overnight camping adventure for kids who stutter in the Northwest. I have read about it. I've seen some of the promos, and I can't wait to hear all about it. It's my pleasure to introduce Sarah Vann.
Hi, thank you, Tom. Hi, everybody. It's not just me today. I do have a few amazing helpers, and I'm gonna let them introduce themselves here in just a minute. But yeah, I'm Sarah. I am not a person who stutters. I'm a speech language pathologist here in Portland, Oregon, with a very special interest in stuttering that started in graduate school. When I went to grad school, I didn't know stuttering was going to become an area of passion for me until my first adult client was a gentleman who stuttered in his mid-50s, and he told me his experiences growing up. And I had been assistant director for a summer camp for kids and teens with autism for 8 years, and I knew the magic of camp. I knew the changes that an atmosphere like an overnight summer camp can make. And so I decided for my special project to graduate with my master's would be to create a camp for kids and teens who stutter. I am one of the co-founders. My other co-founder, Kristen Mangan, she's not able to be here today, but we were able to partner up in 2015 is when we started it, and we had our inaugural year on 2016. And Camp More, the more stands for focusing on doing and saying more rather than putting a focus on trying to stutter less. And so the title of this presentation is technically Meaningful Non-Therapy Therapy for Kids and Teens Who Stutter, because that's basically what we do with Camp More. We're not just a camp, we're also a community. So that is kind of the background, but I'm going to let my helpers here introduce themselves as well. Let's start with Mr. Waybright.
Yes, good morning. I just returned from Israel, and they say good morning in Hebrew as the Boker Tov. Boker Tov, even if it's afternoon where you are. I'm Glenn Waybright. I'm a speech language pathologist in Portland, Oregon. I'm a person who stutters, and I've been lucky enough to be one of the staff members at Camp More for all the years that we've run. I'm closer to the end of my career than to the beginning, and Camp More is up at the top 2 or 3 most impactful things that I've ever done. I've provided therapy for kids and teens and adults who stutter for years and years and years. And the changes that I see in these young people after 4 or 5 days at camp are more than I think I've really ever seen in speech therapy. And it's much more than fluency. That's what everyone's been talking about here. It's much more than fluency. So that's my introduction. I'm very glad to be here. Boker Tov.
Thank you. How about you, August?
Hello, my name's August, and I'm 14, and I stutter, and I think I've been involved with a Camp More for a 5 or 6 years now. So yeah.
Thank you. Gavin.
Hey guys, I'm Gavin. I'm 15. I'm a freshman, and I've been doing Camp More for about 5 or 6 years. I think I started in 2018, and it's been really great all the years that I've been.
Awesome. Thank you. So we are here basically just to talk about the benefits of a non therapy program like Camp More. So I figured who better to tell you a little bit more about Camp More than our campers. So that's why we have Augie and Gavin here. So I thought Augie and Glenn, maybe you two, I mean, you really can talk, but if you want to start off by kind of sharing, what Camp More is and what all we do, that'd be great. Augie, do you want to start off?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so like Camp More like is like a super like a fun camp where like you can meet a lot of people that like us got to and like I get to know them like and again do like fun things, and yeah, there's just lots of like fun like activities and things like that, since like we're like on the coast, so there's like a beach which is fun to kind of do things there, like, and there's like a lake where like you can go swimming, things like kayaking, like and like a fishing, yeah. So yeah, just things like that, yeah.
So looking at it from a staff member's point of view, I think one of the things that we do is work on learning to take risks. It's speaking as experience, it's a risk saying your name when you know you're going to stutter on your name. And it's a risk getting in a kayak, a tippy little boat, if you've never been in a tippy little boat. And it's a risk getting on the giant swing when you've never been on the giant swing. We do supported risks, like in kayaking, from easy boats, almost unsinkable, to more tippy, to faster boats. And watching these kids for 4 nights and 5 days get out of the car on the first day and walk with trepidation and kind of hesitating, walking toward the registration table. And within half an hour, as they've met other people who stutter, they are immersed. Meeting other people who stutter, sometimes for the first time, it's really hard to describe how important that is. The best speech therapy in the world cannot duplicate that. I've always provided good speech therapy, but the biggest changes I've seen, and this is the truth, come from places like Camp More, where you really began to learn who you are, stuttering and all. Fishing, hiking, swimming, canoeing, bird watching, nature studies, crafts, arts and crafts. That's not my gift. If you give me glue and glitter, I'm going to make the biggest mess you've ever seen in your life. But I have other gifts, and being with these kids 24 hours a day. And non-therapy is intriguing to me. Sarah uses the word non-therapy therapy. Non-therapy, I think she's referring to the fact that we don't teach traditional speech tools or ways of making the stuttering less visible or less apparent or working on fluency. We don't do that really at all. The therapy comes from the interaction and the risk-taking and the learning more about other people who stutter and living together. It's a classic mountaintop experience, even though we're at the beach. And I'll just end this part with a real quick story. One of our staff members, person who stuttered, was driving home 5 hours to her home in Oregon after a week at camp, and she stopped to get a hamburger. And she said she walked into the hamburger place and it was something was different. And she walked around and realized that nobody was stuttering And where she'd been for 5 years, everyone was stuttering, or if not, they were listening and not filling in words and not rushing. And it is an amazing experience. Can't be duplicated in speech therapy. I'm very proud to have been a part of it and to be a part of it. You, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, and we are lucky to have you as well, Glenn. Someone asked a really great question in the chat box, asking about if we only have SLPs and SLB students as our volunteers. So one other really great thing that is unique about Camp More is we're definitely a camp for kids and teens who stutter first, but we also are a training program for SLP graduate students to come to our camp and get clinical practicum hours working on this non-therapy therapy approach to stuttering. You know, if stuttering is taught maybe in a course in some, but not all graduate programs. And typically, you know, the focus is usually focused more on those tools. And so this is just a really unique experience for them to gain training from. We have staff members on staff and on our board who are not speech therapists. They are just people who stutter. We also have parents on our board. And then we are moving into a model as we're growing to bring in more adults from our community who stutter to kind of be in a partnership role with our grad student clinicians. We're kind of headed that way. But we also always have day volunteers from our adult stuttering community. And sometimes that is, oftentimes it's our campers' favorite part, as, you know, we have people come to our camp for a day who are lawyers and they stutter, teachers and they stutter, engineers and they stutter. You know, so that has been really meaningful and impactful for them. We do have a little video I would like to share, just so you can see about camp and not just hear from us, but you'll get to see it. And then after that, we're going to talk about what else we do, because we're not just a summer camp. We're actually a community. So our whole focus is focusing on building that confidence and inherently building those communication skills through confidence, and then ultimately building that community. So I'm going to go ahead and share my tab so you all can watch this video. Speak up if people don't, if you can't hear it, but I tested it with Gavin in August a couple of days ago, so hopefully it works. Just like a 3-minute little video.
You're around, Alice.
Can I pet him?
Sure.
Nice.
Aww.
I love your ears.
Okay, so what I want you to do, when you go to get on, I want you to just stick your foot in the stirrup, reach up and grab the saddle horn, get right up close like you're going to hug her. Just like you're going to hug your mama, but you got your foot in the stirrup. You make a little hop on your left or your right foot, and you hop up, and just sit into the saddle.
Okay, this is getting kind of boring now, actually.
Okay. I always tear up when I watch that video, even though I've seen it a million times. Just really quickly, the train piece, we are so fortunate being at the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We always end camp. Our last full day is we get to rent this historic steam engine all to ourselves. And it's our first little step back into reality, back into the non-stuttering world. Because we take this train ride. It's beautiful, it's magical along the coastline into the little Rockaway Beach town, and we get to have ice cream together, and they get to practice whatever they've learned, whether their goal was to say their name more or if their goal was to actually order what they want to order, right? Maybe it's easier for them to say vanilla typically, but they really want strawberry. So this is their chance to practice saying strawberry, even if they block on it for 30 seconds to a minute. It doesn't matter how long it is. They get to say what they want to say, when they want to say it, how they want to say it, rather than trying to focus so hard on just being fluent. And it's such a magical experience. But Gavin, feel free, any of you can jump in at any time as well, Augie, Glenn. But Gavin, I would like you to talk a little bit about more meetups, because yes, we have this amazing summer camp, but we also do monthly meetups here in the Portland area, where we continue to build our community. So Gavin.
Yeah, I sure can talk about that. So we have a lot of meetups. I've actually been going to them for a couple of years now, and it's just, so we go to all sorts of places. We go to Blazers games, which is like basketball, you know, like the NBA, and then we do Timbers games, which is like soccer. And I think one year we did like a haunted house, was really cool. And yeah, we do all these fun arts and crafts thing where we go over to Sarah's house. We just have fun, you know, have pizza and stuff, you know, it's just like a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, it's just like really cool to be around people who also stutter too, you know, and it's really powerful, you know, because it's like if you were to inhale, you know, and you just hold your breath, and like when you're around these people, you know, it's just good to you feel like you can just decompress, you know, and just let that breath out, you know. So yeah, it's a really cool thing that we have. So yeah, it's cool.
Thank you for sharing, Gavin. This is kind of more where we're at this point now is I just wanted to maybe facilitate some open conversation. Anybody can jump in, but I was going to start on the topic of meaningful non-therapy therapy by doing these experiences and putting the focus on building community and connection over fluency. Boys, specifically to you, Gavin and Augie, what would you say? And Gavin, you said it really nicely. You felt like you could breathe. You felt like you can let that breath go. But how else would you say these camp and meetup and non-therapy therapy experiences are meaningful to you, and how do they compare to the traditional speech therapy that I know both of you have experienced quite a bit in your life?
Yeah, so I think it's a cool, because like a lot of times, like in a traditional speech therapy, it's kind of can sometimes just feel like it's a it's about trying to like hide your like a stutter, like, and use these tools to like a stutter like less. But then these like camps and meetups are cool. It's because it's like encouraging stuttering, so it like makes you feel like a lot more confident, like, and you can like say whatever you like want to like say without like needing to like worry like about your stutter.
Yeah.
Gavin, oh yes, go Gavin.
All right, yeah. So going off of what Augie said, it's like it's really powerful, you know, because it's like what you've been taught in speech therapy, and just like trying to improve your fluency is that you need to have all these certain strategies that can help with your speech, you know, and that kind of makes you feel it really puts your guard up a lot, you know. And I feel like just whenever you're around people who carry the same who have the same problem as you know, it's really easy to just let go of the fear of people thinking that you're weird, you know. And yeah, it's just that aspect of letting go that can yeah, just really benefit you, you know, long term. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing, both of you. I did want to bring up just a little something, you know, at camp, and I see it with both of you, August and Gavin. You know, as soon as you're in this community of people who stutter and people who are caring and understanding and welcoming of stuttering, is you all let your guard down. And Gavin, you and I were talking a couple weeks ago, and sorry, I'm about to say an SH word. I hope that's okay, Tom. Don't hang me up. But like when y'all are at camp, you don't give a that you stutter. You don't. And as soon as y'all are there and you're not giving that your tension, you all, like both of you, I can see it. You relax from your face to your shoulders to your breath, and it's not as effortful. And so there's something obviously to be said, you know, it's not, you're just not caring. So, you know, the focus isn't on your speech anymore. And I think, you know, we're really in an exciting time right now, especially, you know, having a president who stutters, and regardless of what your political stance is, we're in an exciting time because it's getting to be out there. And the movement is kind of also, you know, how the autism community is more about neurodivergency and that being okay. It's just neurodivergency. To be more of an, not just a like accepting, but a welcoming, like this is just a spectrum, right? So I don't know. I just think it's an exciting time. There's still a long way to go. Steph, you mentioned in the chat, there's still a lot of damage being done in speech therapy, a lot. And we're just proud of being a program that is pioneering this new wave of speech language pathologists that removes the focus from being on the pressure of speaking fluently, because that is not how the world is moving. So yeah. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say, or any questions or anything? Mr. Waybright, do you have anything?
Yeah, you really run the risk when you ask someone who used to stutter a lot to talk because they like talking so much. But I'll try to make this quick. I sit on a board, the American Board of Fluency and Fluency Disorders, which helps people who want to specialize in stuttering achieve that goal. And we are really seeing current best practices in the US anyway, in speech therapy for people who stutter, are to look at the whole person. Sometimes it's called holistic speech therapy. Sometimes it's called acceptance-based speech therapy, where fluency is not the only or even the most important thing at all. There was a recent article called The 3 E's, the letter E, and it stands for the 3 E's in speech therapy are education, learning about stuttering, and learning about the people around you and their stories. Ease, E-A-S-E, if you're so inclined, you as the client, to learn easier ways of talking, but not fluent speech. And empowerment, the 3rd E's, learning that you are a person first, and oh, by the way, you do happen to stutter, but you've got amazing ideas. You're a dancer or a teacher, or you love model trains, on and on and on. So many things you can do. And I see that with our campers. The empowerment piece is the therapy. Sarah's talked about non-therapy. Yeah, empowerment is the non-therapy therapy, which really makes the big change, makes a big, big change.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Before we move on and open it up to whatever, I just wanted to make sure everybody knows, you follow us on social media. We have an event coming up on Monday night with John Hendrickson, the author. Everybody's welcome to sign up. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific time. It's free. So it's just a great opportunity to chat with John Hendrickson. He's the senior editor from The Atlantic that wrote that article about Joe Biden and his stuttering that went viral. And then he has that book out, Life on Delay, Making Peace with the Stutter. So everybody is welcome to sign up for that at our website if you're interested. Any questions for any of my amazing campers?
Can I ask one? Augie, I don't think I'm breaking confidence. You and I worked together directly in speech therapy for a couple of years. And I'm just going to ask you, because I know the answer, which produced the most change in you? The speech therapy with me, and I want you to tell the truth, or the speech non-therapy therapy that you got at Camp Moore?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's a Camp Moore. Yeah. Yeah, because while speech therapy, like in my life, just like as a been like a great tool for me to like my use when I like need it. Like Camp Moore like has like done so much for me. Like I've like since I've been going, like I felt a lot more like confident in myself, like and with my stutter, that I won't like not do things just because I stutter and things like that. Yeah.
Anita, I see your hand up. Thank you, Augie.
Yeah, Augie and Gavin, what would you tell other kids who stutter? What you've learned from the camp, and how can you try to get them to come to the camp? Because camps like this, as you said, they are life changing. So what would your message be to young people who stutter? What you gained out of the camp?
Yeah, so I mean, you really gain a lot from just being there. I would say the most influential thing about the camp is just the fact that I feel like just in your everyday lives, you know, there's so much like pressure that's being forced on you, you know, just by your own self conscious, like to not stutter, you know, and I feel like just by being there, you know, nobody cares, you know, because everybody stutters, you know, so it's just really powerful how your mind is just able to not really focus on that so much, you know, and just able to enjoy the people around you. And I feel like this concept can apply to your life, you know, just not really caring about your stutter to a point where it becomes unhealthy, and just kind of living, you know, and having a good time. So yeah, it'll be my main message to somebody to young people who are like me. So yeah.
You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. So kind of going like off of what like Gavin said, it feels, you know, like camp is this like a safe space where like you don't need to like worry like about your stutter, because like through like your like every day life, you're kind of just worrying like a lot like about your stutter. Like again, like camp just you can just like relax and like not really think about it. And I think a big part is that when like you like leave camp, you feel just like a lot better, like and a lot more confident about yourself to like do more, like, and just say more and things like that. Yeah. Cool.
I have a follow-up question for you boys. If we did not have our monthly meetups, so we are so fortunate that we have a good group of campers who are able to participate in our monthly meetups. They're called more meetups. If we didn't have that, and it's the case for a lot of our campers where they can really only come for the summer camp because they don't live nearby to come to our more meetups. But if we didn't have those meetups, do you feel like your ongoing experience or like your confidence building and all that, would that be different if we did not have our ongoing meetups at all? Or do you think it would just summer camp be enough to maintain that magic?
Well, yeah, like I think that the like meetups are super like important a lot of them of the time. It's because like you can like maintain those like relationships you like make with like people like at the camp, and like through like your like a normal life, like a lot of the time you don't see like a lot of people that like stutter, but like with the like meetups throughout the like a year, like it's like gets cool to keep on seeing more people that like a stutter, like, and that you can like relate to, things like that.
Yeah, I feel like just going off of what Augie said, there is that that sense of community from the meetups, and that can carry over, go into camp and build in even stronger relationships with them, you know. And it's like it's just bonding, you know. It's just knowing that somebody is going through the same thing as you. That's really powerful, you know, because like I know for me, you know, I'm one of the only kids in my whole school who stutters, you know. So it's definitely tough to you know, connect with those people, right? And I feel like these meetups really help. And yeah, and if I didn't have these meetups, I feel like just this idea of just letting go, right? I feel like doing things like reading a book or writing, you know, or just doing whatever you can to just get your mind off of your stutter and just decompress. It's amazing what it can do to your confidence. And yeah.
Thank you, boys. That's all we officially have, Tom, unless anybody has any follow-ups.
So unless anyone has any questions or comments about the presentation, Heather.
First, thank you guys, Gavin and August. I love hearing you guys talk and share your experiences. Rock on. I was curious about your experiences with your parents, if they had expectations of you when you came home from camp. Would things be different? And then as a second half for Sarah, is there a family component to reduce some of the pressure that sometimes kids have, like, oh, well, when you come home, I expect you to talk differently, you know? So, but you guys first, what was your experience like with your parents?
Yeah, like my parents, like I knew like what it was like, again, like they didn't like expect me to like like a stutter like less or like anything, because it's it's because like it's a lot more like about building like a community, and my parents like knew that, so yeah.
Yeah, so going off of what Augie said, it's just, yeah, it's me personally, I'm really fortunate that I have parents who are really supportive and who understand that it's just a part of who I am, and that I can't control it. And at the end of the day, the reason that I'm there, like what Augie said, is to build a community, you know, and to just you know, just find people who are facing that same obstacle, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, boys. Heather, to follow up on your question, these two are two of our participants who have incredibly supportive families. And I would say 90% of the families that come through camp understand, like they take the time before they register their kids, they take the time to read our mission and philosophy, they take the time to actually participate in the family online training that we send out that's supposed to be mandatory before the campers come, just so that way they know the expectations. But we do, every once in a while, like I said, probably about 10%, have families who register their kids, whether it's for camp or monthly meetups, who expect it to be more traditional speech therapy. That's why I call it non-therapy therapy. And when their kids come home, you know, sometimes they're stuttering a little less because they were just immersed in this place where they didn't have to care or try to hide it at all. But other times they come back and they stutter more because the same reason, they don't have to hide it and they cared less. So we try to make sure there's that expectation of, we're not here to change the way they speak. There might be some changes, but it is not our focus. We have had a couple of families contact us where when their kiddo came home, they stuttered more and they weren't happy about it. And we do our best to educate, you know, but especially when there's cultural differences and cultural or religious beliefs on differences or what they consider disabilities or disorders, there's only so much we can do. There's only so much education that we can provide, and we can't make someone change their mind. We can just educate and empower the best we can. And part of that is, while we're at camp, we teach advocacy skills. We role play and we come up with different scenarios and work through these programs or these problems through natural conversation and natural contexts. Only a couple times have we had a camper not return the following year because the families expected this to be a fluency enhancing camp and they were disappointed it wasn't. But yeah, I would say about 10% think, oh, a stuttering camp, great, I'm going to sign up my kid, and when they come back, they're not going to stutter. But usually we, as long as the parents, you know, do their listening and their reading and everything they're supposed to do, they understand what we're doing and what we're not doing. Steph.
Yeah, so I just wanted to reiterate again and thank you for all of your work as speech therapists that are trying so hard in our sector of the field to fight for what's right and to change the trend. You're a big part of that. So I just wanted to tell you thank you so much, and keep on doing it, August. And Gavin, keep speaking. People who are still promoting fluency need to hear you speak, right? They need to hear these personalized lived experiences, because that's where the heart of what we do is. So keep talking and don't stop. And that's just what I wanted to say. Thanks so much, guys.
Well, thank you, Steph. Same to you. You are also part of the change. Anything else? Just thank you all for giving these boys space. And thank you, Tom, for creating this amazing program. It means a lot. It means a lot.
Thank you for creating Camp Moore. And this concept of non-therapy therapy. Gavin and Augie, I stutter. The two young people in our house stutter also. One's a girl that's 22. One's a young man like yourself that's 20. So we call Mom the weird one because she doesn't stutter. So it's 3 against 1. So we deal with the pressures of high school. You guys will be going to college soon. We deal with that every single day. You know, and high school is you're at a very difficult part of life, very difficult. You know, and things will get easier after this. But right now, it's a very, very difficult. You know, and the people in the world studying community understand what you're going through, because we've all been there. You know, so you have our hearts and you have our support. This whole non-therapy therapy, from my perspective, the reason that Camp Moore works and this concept that Sarah has works is because I was always afraid to do things. I was afraid to do anything. I was afraid to walk down the hall because someone would ask me my name and I would stutter. So I didn't do anything. You know, my focus was just fluency techniques. You know, well, if I could talk, then I could do all these things. You know, I could swing on a swing. I could ride a horse. I could shoot a bow and arrow, these things that I see you're doing. I thought that I had to be able to not stutter in order to do anything. So I didn't do anything. And it was only later on in life that I realized that by doing these things, it actually helped my stutter. So when I see these things that you guys are doing in the video, it really touches my heart. It affects me deeply, because I know that these are confidence building activities. And even though they don't have anything to do with speech, with fluency shaping techniques, they have everything to do with stuttering, everything. So I support things like Camp Moore 110%. You know, I wish we had those in every single city across the world, actually. You know, so and the courage that it takes you to. I mean, look at all these people in the Zoom meeting, all these and they're adults. You know, they're not even your age. You know, all these adults that you guys are talking to, page after page. The bravery that it took you guys to do this today. Thanks, man. Thank you. Proud of both you guys.